Hey all, Ron here from Military Images Magazine with a new episode of Life on the Civil War Research Trail. During the fighting at Cold Harbor, while combat raged across the battle scarred landscape, Major General Winfield Scott Hancock observed the action from a prominent position upon an exposed knoll. As couriers and aides from the brigades and divisions in his Second Corps dashed to and fro, Hancock sent his staff into the maelstrom with orders to commanders scattered across the front lines. In one instance, Hancock dispatched a staffer with orders to one of his division commanders, Francis Barlow, whose position was under threat by the enemy. The staff member had barely left on his errand when a bullet took down his horse, forcing him to return. Hancock sent a second man and then a third with the same result. Meanwhile, bullets peppered the knoll. One killed an orderly, several tore through the headquarters flag, and another nicked the brim of Hancock's hat. Hancock remained on his horse, noting dryly, within earshot, of course, to his men, "Gentlemen, it's a little close here," just as the third rider returned without success. Hancock now turned to a fourth staffer and said, "Mr. Arms, it is your turn, and for God's sake, get this order to Barlow." Mr. Arms is the man pictured here. George Augustus Arms, a 20-year-old Virginian with quite the military name. He remained loyal to the Union. He began his service in 1861 as an informal scout and suffered a knee wound at the First Battle of Bull Run. Then enlisted in the 16th West Virginia Infantry, but then was forced to transfer to the Invalid Corps due to that knee wound that was unhealed. He did eventually recover and return to combat duty as an aide to Hancock. Flash forward 40 years, 1900, Arms' memoir, Ups and Downs of an Army Officer, was published. Each chapter is a year, and the 1864 section includes the Cold Harbor story. It's a revealing read, mentioning many officers with whom you students of the war are very familiar. I want to read it to you. Arms begins. Reaching Cold Harbor during the night of June 1st on our march, the old Second Corps was firing pretty lively by 4 o'clock a.m. on the 3rd of June, since the Johnny Rebs let us know that they did not intend to fall back any further. We made up our minds that they were going to give us hard work, and by sunrise, there was a line at least 6 miles long, pouring a continuous fire at each other. The artillery went at it in dead earnest. It was an interesting sight. The 5th Army Corps was soon in need of assistance, and General Birney, commanding the 3rd Division, went to General Warren's support, who was opposed by a very strong force. These Confederates seemed determined to break our line if possible, and when General Tyler, commanding the 4th Brigade, charged, he was shot in the foot, and everyone of his staff was either killed or wounded. Colonel Brooke, commanding the brigade, was shot through the stomach. Colonel Porter, commanding the 8th New York, one of the most popular officers in the Army at that time, was killed. Colonel Haskell of the 66th New York, another gallant officer with 8 other colonels whose names I do not now recall, were also killed. General Hancock stationed himself with his staff upon a prominent knoll where he could witness almost every movement, sending his officers at all necessary times, which seemed to us exceedingly numerous, to the division commanders with orders. He directed General Barlow to occupy a position on the crest of a hill, which the Confederates seemed determined we should not hold. Captain McIntyre was ordered to deliver this, but he had not gotten out of sight before his horse was shot out under him, and he had to return. When Captain Isaac Parker was told by the general, "For God's sake, get that order to Barlow," Parker had gone but a short distance when his horse was shot in the eye, reared up and fell over dead. General Hancock, clasping his hands together, said, "Poor Parker is killed." Turning to Captain Wilson, he told him to get the order to Barlow at once. Just as Captain Wilson started, one of our orderlies was killed, and a few bullets went through the headquarters flag and one through the rim of the general's hat. When he quietly said, "Gentlemen, it is a little close here," but still sat on his horse, which was firm as a rock. Just then, Captain Wilson returned, his horse having been killed. General Hancock now turned to me and said, "Now, Mr. Arms, it is your turn, and for God's sake, get this order to Barlow." The battle was now raging its hottest, and shells were bursting all around us, tearing up the ground under our horses and covering us with dirt. I headed my horse for General Barlow, who could be seen sitting on his prancing steed in the midst of the firing. Lying at the side of my horse's neck, I sent him forward at full speed and, in less than 4 minutes, was at Barlow's side. The charge was made, but it was found impossible to drive the enemy out of their stronghold. The old Second Corps now went to work in earnest and dug rifle pits, and soon had a strong line of breastworks, which proved to be good protection against the bullets and shells, which filled the air like a swarm of bees. Upon my return, General Hancock grasped me by the hand and thanked me for my promptness. Colonel Mitchell then rode up to me and said that General Meade, General George Gordon Meade, the Army of the Potomac commander, who was talking to General Hancock when the latter gave me the order, asked him, "Who was that young officer that just started for Barlow?" "It is Mr. Arms," Hancock replied, "and he would carry an order into hell if I should tell him to take one there." So there you have the story of Arms and his precarious ride at Cold Harbor. Arms did not refute General Hancock's assertion, and so one is left to believe that if Hancock did ask him to go to hell with a message, Arms would do it. Arms went on to command Buffalo soldiers in the West, survived 3 court-martials. He described himself as a mischief maker and attended to various official duties in Washington, D.C. He died in 1919 at age 75. His remains rest in Arlington National Cemetery. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode of Life on the Civil War, a research trail.